What's up, everybody? Pep Man Matt Marsh, off Football Insiders. In the words of Coach Rule, 704-980. Let's go. This is Football Focus Weekly with CFI, Charlotte Football Insiders. All right, welcome everyone. Pep Man Matt Morrow, Football Focus Weekly. This is the Charlotte High School Football Preview Show. And in typical fashion, my guys have abandoned me. Most controversial show of the season. So, oh, wait a minute. There is somebody here. I lied. I'm sorry. Don't blame the engine is here.
I'm just here for the comments, Pep.
You know, it's hilarious. You know, producer texted me. He said he wasn't gonna make it because he's out celebrating a friend's something. I can't remember what it was. But, you know, this has been, you know, in history, the most anticipated of our shows. And we've got a comment here. And the chat administrators here, so we appreciate that. Of course, tonight is the Charlotte High School Football Preview, so we're going to get going real quick. We're going to start with the private schools, and then we'll move into the public schools. And I'll share the screen here so we can get going on that. So there's tonight's schedule. We'll start with private schools, as I just said. Then we'll go into Queen City Conference, SOMEC 7, Southwest. We'll go over the Jamborees that are going on in the area on Friday. And then we'll finish with Slime Time. Jason, you got to stay up, man. It's only 9 o'clock. It's only 9 o'clock, man. Come on. Get some coffee. Jeez. We ain't that old, are we?
I've got my $7.99 a 12-pack Sun Drop ready to go, Pep.
All right, well, without further ado, let's get going. So here we go. Big South Conference in NCISAA, who I tagged in the tweet, and they liked it, so hopefully they're watching. Number one, we've got Providence Day. They won the NCISAA title last season. Of course, they're loaded with a bunch of talent. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Number two is Charlotte Christian, coming off an uncharacteristic 5-6 season. I expect them to bounce back really strong this year. And then third, we have Charlotte Latin. And fourth, we have Charlotte Country Day. So, we've, when you look at this, Providence Day, Charlotte Christian, I wrote earlier this year that I feel like that game is a big one. I think they'll play twice. I think they'll play their regular season game. And I think they'll meet again in the playoffs, which has kind of been the trend the past couple of years in the NCI SAA playoffs. You got anything to add on that?
There's a lot of talent on those four schools listed. Providence Day may have one of the more talented teams, not just in private schools, but in the entire state. I mean, those guys are loaded over there with the amount of talent they have on both sides of the ball. Not just the skill players, but the big kids as well. And then, of course, Charlotte Christian, Charlotte Latin, Charlotte Country Day, such storied programs there. They play good football in that league, and you have to be extremely talented, and you have to have good depth in that league. I think that's what we forget about.
Right.
Is the depth that these teams have, because consistently year after year they put out high caliber talent.
Absolutely. And it's a good point. I think the depth thing is what separates the top two teams in this conference from the bottom two teams in this conference. All right. Let's look at the Western Football Conference. We've got Rabun Gap at number 1. Rabun Gap has a lot of talent. You talk about talent. I know they're in Georgia, but there's an agreement for them to play in the NCI SAA, and I got them number 1 in this conference. Number 2, I have Cannon. This used to be the Cabarrus Warriors, but they've rebranded to Cannon. Most of their players, go to Cannon School, so we've got them second. Metro Christian, who has a lot of talent as well, is third in my prediction, and then fourth is Christ School, which is no slouch at all. I think they've got a great quarterback in Trey Mooney and some other guys that can make some things happen. And they've throughout the years been a really good program. So I think all four of these schools, have a real good shot when they get into the playoffs of, possibly pulling an upset against either a Providence Day or a Charlotte Christian, because all these schools are in Division I. They kind of changed the structure in the NCI SAA. So now there's more teams in Division I, not as many in Division II. So you have any thoughts on these guys?
Well, I've seen Cannon School. Then the Cabarrus Warriors played last year. I believe they ended up being the state champions. They avenged an earlier season loss, the loss that I was at for a homecoming game. They've got an extremely talented quarterback. They've got talented wide receivers. Their defense last year swarmed to the football. Of course, they have beautiful facilities. And then something that I've learned here recently, of course, we all know about Metro Christian and their special running back and how special he is. But I've learned here recently that all private schools in the state of North Carolina hate Metro Christian. And so when I ask these athletes, I drive with Drivers Ed, why do you hate MCA so much? And this is what they always say: because they beat us at everything. 10-4. I get it. I would hate them too if they beat me at everything. And then, Pep, you mentioned it. We don't know about Christ School as much in Charlotte because it's up there in Asheville. But not only is it a beautiful facilities, I think it's a boarding school, a male-only boarding school maybe, but they consistently have 5, 6, 7 big-time Division I prospects, not just from the Carolinas. I mean, we're talking about all over America and even internationally. They have kids come in. They play a heck of good football too.
Absolutely, man. We're gonna get into some players here in just a second.
That's why I'm not saying any names, Pep. I'm just calling out positions.
I appreciate it. So, the last conference in the NCISAA we're going to talk about is the Piedmont Athletic Conference, and I had to do some digging on this one, and I did do some research, and I got Asheville School at number 1. The Blues have some good talent on that squad. Number 2, I've got Hickory Grove, led by Coach Tad Baucom. Has done a great job. He coached Sam Howell at Sun Valley. He's got some good kids over there. Third, I've got Covenant Day down in Matthews. They've got a couple good kids there. And then finishing up High Point Christian at 4 and Southlake Christian at 5. And they're kind of doing what Cabarrus Warriors did They've combined their program with another program, and I kind of feel like you got to get a little bit of time, under that kind of mesh system to kind of get things going and everything. So
Where's the other private school with the beautiful stadium over there near South Lake Christian, that part of town?
is that South Lake? That's Huntersville, right?
Yeah, right off of Beatty Ford Road.
Is it Lake Norman Charter or Pine Lake Prep or
No, it's not Pine Lake Prep. They have a beautiful stadium right there on the corner. Anyhow, I'll think of it. I just don't know a lot about these teams, honestly, Pep.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to some players here. So, all right. So Providence Day, it was very hard to choose just three, but there's a ton of talent on the team. Obviously, quarterback Jaden Davis, the number one quarterback in his class, has got offers from all over the country. Offensive line, defensive line, Tyson Moore has been to our camp and done a great job.
Picked up scholarship offers.
Absolutely. And then wide receiver Jordan Shipp, the son of former West Charlotte great Steve Shipp, is doing an amazing job. He's picking up offers like crazy. I think his most recent offer was from UNC Chapel Hill.
Wow.
Really, really talented kid. And then Christian, a lot of people don't talk about, Charlotte Christian as much, but you start looking at their roster, they have, a good amount of talent themselves. Grant Tucker is a 4-star player with a lot of different offers. Running back Kyron Jones, he's the best running back nobody ever talks about. I tell you, he is a special player. You look at his film, he gets into space, he just explodes, and I see why he has the Division I offers he has. And then quarterback Cam Estep, the son of head coach Jason Estep, done a great job growing in that offense, and now he's up in his senior year. Charlotte Latin, of course, we know quarterback Charlie Smith. I think we were the first ones to see him really jump onto the scene.
And he jumped too, buddy.
Yeah. And, now he's got a chance to start and have Latin become his, offense, with Justin Wheeler moving on to Mallard Creek. Tyler Henley, I knew Tyler from 2 years ago. We did a 7-on-7 tournament up in Mountain Island, and he won defensive MVP. He is a heck of a player on both sides of the ball. And then you get to Country Day. I tell you, Spencer Mermans I saw 2 years ago, and he flashed big time. And I asked Coach Whitman, I said, who is 77? That was the number he was wearing at the time. He said, hey, that's Spencer Mermans. You gonna know that guy. And he was a sophomore back then. And, man, he's starting to pick up several different offers on the D1 level. And then quarterback Khalil Wright, I liked watching his film. He played at Cox Mill last year, and I think he's going to be a player that you may not know that well, but he's going to come onto the scene and do some good things over there at Country Day. We got Anthony Ingram chiming in, telling us that the stadium you're talking about is Community School of Davidson. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. And I think I said, we'll talk later about that. All right. Let's move on to some more players in the NCISAA. Engine, you mentioned Cannon and some of those guys, quarterback Tyler Green.
I mean, I told you last year, Pep, I thought that he was the top sophomore quarterback that I saw all season last year. Incredibly agile. He moves well in the pocket. He's cool. He's calm. He has a cannon of an arm, and he's just a tremendous kid as well. And it looks like I'm here by myself, so I'll keep going. Will Jones, another incredibly talented kid. He scored several touchdowns in the game that I saw. He had a couple touchdowns called back, which were difference makers in the decision of that game. And then the big OLDL, Hayes Galloway, he plays everything. He plays nose guard. He plays the interior offensive line. Of course, the son of Lonnie Galloway, the wide receivers coach for Chapel Hill. Metrolina Christian, I mentioned them a minute ago. More names. Jeremy Williams, one of the most incredible running backs that we had at our HBCU showcase, just really turned out incredible play after play after play. Hoping that Pep gets back here soon. This is Pep's list. I'm wondering where some kids transferred to. I was wondering where they were. I fell asleep. Yeah. God, no. Uh, hey, Mr. Scott, what you got to do? I was getting ready to
I'm sorry.
Scott Stott song.
I had to take a phone call. My phone was blowing up, and I apologize about
Tell Coach Phillips to get on the show to stop calling you.
that. Well, it wasn't him. It was somebody else. But
Well, we got through to Jeremy Williams, Pep, and
okay.
a couple names that I'm just not familiar with. So.
Okay. Well, athlete Leighton Duke was at Piedmont. He was actually an all-conference player at Piedmont, and has come into the Metro Atlanta Christian program. And
I knew that name sounded familiar to me.
Yeah, and then the quarterback Reed Amy is a big-time player for Christian, and he's back. Once again this year. You look at Hickory Grove. The player I like the most from them is quarterback Jordan Adams. He's a 6'4" kid. He's athletic. And because he's at Hickory Grove, a lot of people don't know about him, but he's a talent. He's a talent, man. Covenant Day, the offensive lineman Dane Steele joined me in the Players Lounge about a month and a half ago. He's a talented player that's been to some ACC camps and has some, college interest on that level. And then the South Lake Christian, the wide receiver Jim Burnham has some good size and playmaking ability on the outside. So there's a lot of talent on every one of these schools in the private school sector. And, to your point, Kenneth, there's talent on the private school side. And a lot of people may not recognize it. So check out these kids. They're all on Twitter. Follow them. And, college coaches checking this out, man, you need to jump on some of these guys because there's some hidden talent there for sure. All right, before we jump into the first Charlotte conference, I need to address some of these comments right here. First of all, where are you at? I thought you might have been asleep. And then secondly, who else? Jason Bass, see what happens after 9 p.m. narcolepsy. No, I had to take a phone call. I had to address an issue. And now we're good, okay? Good gracious. All right, and thank you, chat administrator. The stupid people tweeting out fake tweets. Has anyone ever clicked on one of those things? Where does it go?
People do. I mean, they get shared all the time. They got to.
But I mean, where does it go? I don't understand. I mean, what are they trying to do? Maybe we need to do that live. Well, no, I'm scared what might come up.
Yeah, don't do that, Pat.
It might be
use a work computer. Don't use your computer.
Duly noted. All right, here we go. The real hate starts now. Queen City Conference. All right. Number 1, we have Chambers, Huff at 2, Mallard Creek 3, North Meck 4, West Charlotte 5, West Meck 6, and Hopewell 7. All right, so this, was very, very difficult, as it is every year because, there's some really good football played in this conference, led by some really, really intelligent coaches that work hard along with some great players. You look at Chambers, man, the incredible talent on the offensive side of the ball, with Bubba Kemp, who committed to Old Dominion. Congratulations.
Did he commit?
Bubba. Yes, he did.
For him.
Yes. That was awesome. And then you look at the receiving core. They brought in offensive coordinator Donald Littlejohn from the state champion South Point Stallions. You think about the spread offense he runs with those receivers and Bubba throwing the football. It's going to be something really, really, really fun to watch if you're a Chambers fan. That being said, Huff, I tell you, man, they have so much talent on that team. And a lot of it you may not be aware of. When we get into some of these players we're going to talk about here in a second, they have a lot of really, really good depth, on that squad. Now I think they're deeper in some places than some of these other teams. And I think when you get into the playoffs, what we've seen is in the regular season, Huff has usually won the regular season matchup between Chambers, and in the playoffs, it flips around and then Chambers wins, and then they move on, to the state championship. This year, I feel like, Chambers will come out strong, and they're going to really do well. And I think they'll win the regular season in the conference. Now, when the playoffs come, I think it's really going to be interesting to see, number one, I think these two teams will match up twice. It's kind of like Providence Day Christian we were talking about. I think they'll see each other twice again this season. And then that second matchup, it's really going to – it's always fun. It's always fun to see it, man. And then Mallard Creek, I tell you, man, we used to talk about this conference of being one of the best conferences in the state. And, with Mallard Creek and the talent they have this year, I think this will be the best conference in the state again. I think those top three teams have the ability to all go deep in the playoffs. The thing with Mallard Creek, is going to be the quarterback play. If Justin Wheeler can come in and learn the offense and get the ball out to those guys, that the playmakers they have in space we're going to talk about in a minute, they're going to be very dangerous because defensively they are loaded. I mean loaded, man. All three levels of the defense. I'm excited to see them, but you look at their schedule. Their schedule is, good gracious, it is a beast, man. And it'll have them ready for conference play. But, I was thinking about the other day, and the other thing you want to be, cognizant of is, do you get beat up, playing heavyweights week after week after week? So the key is going to be if they come out of the non-conference and they're not banged up and they don't lose anyone, going up against those heavyweights, they're going to be a tough out, man. And then North Mech. North Mech has some confidence. They have some swag. They made the playoffs last year. I don't know if a lot of people are aware of that. I think Coach McKee and his guys have that program going in the right direction. And then they have, guys that can go make some plays we'll talk about here in just a second. West Charlotte, I just saw them earlier tonight. They were in the Jamboree up at J.M. Robinson. And I tell you, man, on defense, those guys, man, Coach Mike Rose, he was coaching his tail off, man. I got a picture. I got a great picture I'll put up later on. But he's energetic, and he, had those guys playing. I think defensively they're going to be pretty good. Offensively, they're working in a new quarterback, of course. Josh Mahatha's graduated. They've got some guys, that can get some things done on the offensive side of the ball. So it'll be interesting to see how it all comes together. But then when you get down here, I think everyone has the same kind of top-level talent. But like we said earlier, it's about the depth. It's about the depth. If you lose one of those guys, that's what your playmaker. Do you have someone else behind them that can step up and make some plays? And that's kind of the difference between the top of the league here and then the bottom half of the league in my projection. West Mech, once again, good top-end talent. I was just over there yesterday. Coach Beatty's excited. He's got some guys at the top end that can play. They can play with anyone on this list. But it's just a numbers game. When you get down to the numbers game and you for a half or three quarters, you're going to be in there. But in that fourth quarter, do you have enough to pull it out, and go beat some people? And, that's the big key here. When you look at this conference, which is a heavyweight conference. And then Hopewell has some guys too we're going to talk about in just a second here. There's some good comments on the side right here. Let's see. The illustrious top four is legit in this conference. I definitely agree with that. Obviously, I got them in the top four. Let's see right here. And this is a good point for Jason Bass. What does this schedule do for Mallard Creek RPI? Now, that is something, we're going to get into when I talk about another team later on. It's now a point when you look at the playoff formula, your strength of schedule, and if you're playing a lot of winning teams, it's going to make that number go up. And then Mallard Creek's definitely going to have a strong, rating because of that. All right. So what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, Pep, I think that right now you're right on it. I think every team is where they should be based off of what they did last year, based off the talent they have coming back. Of course, Chambers, a couple questions. New coach, new offensive
Right.
coordinator. Of course, we all know LJ in Charlotte and know what he brings to the table. When I saw them play against Shelby last year, I was super impressed with the diversity of his offense, how quickly he spread the ball to different fields. Everybody, different players on the field. Everybody thinks that being a balanced offense is having an equal run-pass ratio, but that's not what it is. A balanced offense is getting your players the ball as many times as possible. Your Z receiver getting 5 or 6 touches and your Y receiver getting 4 or 5 touches and your running back getting 12 or 13 touches, spreading the ball out evenly. Of course, Huff is who they always are. Until they kind of get that monkey off their back in the playoffs, Chambers is going to be the team to beat, and the team that everybody looks at as the number one team in the state of North Carolina. Mallard Creek, when I saw them live last year in the playoffs versus Butler, their defense that was led by a bunch of sophomores, they just flew to the ball. And Pep, we saw Mallard Creek player after Mallard Creek player on defense just make incredible plays, get scholarship offers at the HBCU showcase. That team is loaded, not just with speed and talent, but also the size and the charisma that you look for. It was almost like watching a Mallard Creek team from 5 or 6 years ago, just the way they carried themselves, that swag and that demeanor. North Mac, I think they're calling themselves the new North. Which is funny. It's shades of the old North. It's shades of North Mecklenburg when I was there. And Dale Vereen, their defensive coordinator, was there. And, the videos that they're putting out, the hype that they're putting out. North Mech, they've got that new little room that is a multi-purpose room for athletes now with some of the great players of all time hanging up. North Mech is doing everything they can to remind their kids who live in their district, hey, we play football here too, and we can be competitive. And I think that you hit on the head. These guys are growing by leaps and bounds. They're believing in their coaching staff. West Charlotte obviously has had a hiccup here recently. Maybe where they thought they were going to be 2 months ago, some things have maybe slowed that up a little bit. And a lot of it, nothing that the kids, the athletes, could have done about it. Those kids have been working their butts off. They haven't had a home football game in a long time, and all the other just stuff that they've had to deal with just to be able to put on pads. West Mech had several kids at our camp as well who did incredible things. And then, of course, Hopewell, another new coach with Coach Gentry coming in there. And how quickly will Coach Gentry not only be able to keep his kids home and not go to other schools listed on the map, but to build that program up. Was the toughest conference in the state. No team in this conference I don't see going undefeated through conference play. You mentioned Mallard Creek. I just looked it up. Myers Park, Buford in Georgia, Gaffney, South Point. That is just a tremendous opening in non-conference. But you mentioned it. How much they get beat up, how many lumps do they take, and how will that affect them? Now, if they come out and they win 3 out of those 4 games, let me tell you, they might make a whole lot of noise in that conference. And Pep, me and you have talked about this a whole bunch. I have such a tremendous respect for Coach Tinsley and that entire staff. The way that they treated us at the showcase, those guys are top notch, and there's no doubt I'm pulling for Mallard Creek to be successful this year.
Well, on top of that, they've only got 2 home games.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You know what? I see my man Reggie Lee. I was waiting on it, Reggie Lee, because I called it last year. I told Dale Vereen after I saw you guys play Huff. I think you were there. I know Tyrus was there. But I said next week, y'all will beat Mallard Creek. Mark my words. And sure enough, you guys did, man. I could see the beginnings of what you guys are doing. And Reggie and I go way back. I've been following what he posts on social media, and I'm excited to see what those dudes do this year, man. I'm an Old North guy, man. That was my first school I ever coached at.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. The great Zay Flicks, who is a part of Charlotte Football Insiders officially, but Anyway, he says, Mallard Creek is my sleeper team this year. Well, for those of us in the know, we know about the talent. Now, for everyone else that's out there that, doesn't follow this stuff all the time, that, now that they've seen, Coach Palmieri move on and, they had a couple of years that weren't Mallard Creek, like, they might be sleep on Mallard Creek. So,
what I can appreciate about a Mallard Creek or even about a Huff, Pep, is they're not all showy with the special media stuff. Mallard Creek has been pretty much working in silence, and they have just gotten better and better and better. Of course, I guess Huff doesn't have to put out all that fancy stuff. I don't know. They get kids to come in there, but that's incredible talent. Incredible talent.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right, let's take a look at some players here because there's a lot of players, and it was hard to just choose 3.
You put like 6 on each team up here? Or what?
Now what we did 2 years ago when they did the IMEC conference, and we had all those players. Everyone was fussing at me because they were like, "Why did they get so many more players?" So I said, "Okay."
Because you just put the ones who had Division I offers up there.
I said, I will keep it to 3. So that's what we got here. So, of course, with Chambers, we talked about quarterback Bubba Kemp committing Old Dominion. Kevin Concepcion, I misspelled. That should be a C instead of a T there. Sorry about that. But y'all know who he is if you're watching this show. And then linebacker Jordan Thompson, man. A guy that, is really, really talented, but, you don't hear as much about him. He's just kind of the guy that keeps that defense, together, organized, makes big hits, and he can also, jump in on some offense and play some running back, especially down in the red zone. And they used them some, last year in that situation. Huff quarterback Tad Hudson committed to North Carolina. Defensive lineman Brendan Palmer, he's more of a defensive end or an edge guy. He's got some Division I offers. I know Kentucky's one of them that comes to mind off the top of my head. And then kicker Nolan Hauser, man. How cool is this? So I got sent today that he's a part of the Max Preps all junior team in the nation. He is the kicker for that team. So
I want to say he was as a freshman as well, Pep. I mean, like that kid was, putting 90 of 91 kickoffs in the end zone as a freshman.
Yeah, he is a super, super talent, man. So congratulations to Nolan. That's big time. And, we did an interview with Nolan, I think about a year ago. And, he's a real spoken kid. And, he's going to be a big time guy that we're going to see kicking at a big time college program. And maybe even further than that, in his future. Mallard Creek, a defensive end, Ashan Abdul Ali, a super talented player. Athlete Darren Morrison was at our camp and was it's funny, he came as a wide receiver and then he was named the top 5 DB. So he's a true athlete and an incredible player. And then linebacker Michael Short is committed to East Carolina. He came to our camp last year, won the linebacker MVP award, and after he won that, his recruiting just took off, man. So
Pep, it's crazy just for those 3 teams. How many big-time players aren't even on this list?
Yes.
I mean, big-time offer players who are on this list. I mean, it's phenomenal. It's almost unfair to name any because there are so many names that we could just keep rattling off and who are worthy of recognition.
And, my goal this year is we're going to talk about all those kids throughout the season, especially when we start talking about game previews and things like that. You go to North Meck, quarterback Bokar Lai. Really, really good player. Great size. DeMorris Jenkins, 6'5" kid, is committed to East Carolina as well. Great edge player. And then offensive lineman Ola Olasimbo got 3 offers at the HBCU Carolina Showcase. Really, really good offensive lineman.
Biggest showcase event ever in the state of North Carolina, Pep. We got to do something like that again one day.
It might happen. West Charlotte. Oh, my God. Jaden Smith, let me tell you something. I saw him tonight. he literally was all over the field, man. I tell you, Jaden Smith is a heck of a player. His recruitment should be about to take off because I don't know how anyone is not on this kid. 6'3", long, athletic, flies off the edge, loves contact. And when I do the highlights from the Jamboree tonight, you'll see number 4. That's the number he's wearing this year, all over the field. Athlete Kamon Fleming, he'll play some slot and outside receiver, and he'll play some wildcat quarterback. And then, of course, the offensive lineman Darian Rivers going to NC State. 6'8" kid. You see him, you know who he is immediately. Big-time player. West Meck, like we said, they've got top-end talent as well. Linebacker B.D. Waddell the 5th. I just did interviews with them. You can check those out on our social media. Wide receiver Jeremy Black's going to be a key part of their offense. And then DB Omari Sanders Richardson can absolutely fly. And he's going to be a big-time guy that can lock guys down on the outside. We get to Hopewell. Quarterback Edward Johnson. I saw him when he played JV. And I'm going to tell you, this kid, you know, he's a very stout kid. He can run and move outside the pocket and ad-lib and make big-time throws down the field. I'm excited to see him on the varsity level. When he played JV, he looked like he was going to be a big-time game-changing player as the time moved on. And then the running back, Chris Brown, is back once again. Really, really good player. Had about 700 yards rushing. Really athletic, and he can fly when he gets into space, too. So, you know, Hopewell has some guys, you know, that can make some plays, too. And right here, Mr. Calvin Johnson, don't sleep on my boy EJ. I know about him. I've seen. We did an interview with him. He's a real good kid, man. Real good kid, man. And then illustrious running back Brown's legit for Hopewell. Absolutely. You check his film out. You know that'll back it up, man. Anything you want to add on these guys?
No, same thing. I mean, Pep. I mean, yeah, it almost seems not right just to limit it to three players per team. There's so much talent in that league. Incredible. Charlotte is blessed.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely blessed. That's the right term right there. All right, we're going to move on to the next conference. And we got the SOMEC Conference. It used to be the SOMEC 7, but it is the SOMEC Conference now. Well, actually, did I miss? No? Okay. Anyway, SOMEC Conference. All right, so RGKL at the top, Olympic 2, South Meck 3, Myers Park 4, Berry 5, Harding 6, and Palisade 7. So it started looking at this, and you know, when I studied the teams, I did a lot of research for Prep Red Zone when I was writing a lot of previews for these teams, and I started looking at the rosters, and then RGKL, man, you know, there's some questions about, you know, who the quarterback is, but outside of that, they've got, you know, an answer at every position when you go down the line. And a lot of those guys are seniors, and they've been through the wars. You know, last year they made the second round of playoffs. They lost at home to East Forsyth in the second round. So, you know, I think there'll be some major motivation right there. But losing Jack Curtis, trying to replace him, is a big, big hole to fill. And, you know, they got some talented guys at that position, but it'll be interesting to see who gets that job. And then if they can, you know, distribute the ball to all the weapons they have on that team, can they go deeper in the playoffs? Because I think they'll get there once again. Now, I've got Olympic. Now, this next 2, 3, and 4, you know, you look back to last season, and you look at the games between 2, 3, and 4. All of those games came down to the end. I mean, Olympic lost so many close games. And, you know, I said it, you know, in the preview when I did it for Prep Red Zone. They were the best team that didn't make the playoffs last year. Their quarterback is back. They've got key guys back that went through, you know, those tough losses. Now, they lost, of course, they lost like everyone else. But, you know, they've got the quarterback back. And, you know, and their defensive line is very, very good. So, So here's the thing, Reggie. I think they've got enough to finish second in this league. I do. I do. Now, in the future, I think they lost, a lot of their young guys. Obviously, with Palisades opening up, we'll talk about, some of those guys here in a second. But I think they have enough to finish second here. South Mech, their quarterback is back, but obviously they lost a lot of their offensive line. They lost the great, Mr. Newman at running back. Did a great job. Carrying that team last year, and then Reese would step up and make some big throws. I think this year, he'll have the opportunity to do a lot more of that because I think their strength is with him and then their receiving core. Those receivers, outside the one kid that is more of a basketball guy who left and went to Myers Park. Those other receivers in Nesbitt and Tyquez Millette will, make some plays for the South Mech offense. And they've got, some guys coming back on defense as well, that I think, will help make a difference here. Now, you look at Myers Park. Myers Park lost a lot. I mean, they lost a lot of talent off that team to graduation. And then, of course, the coaching change. I think Coach McManus coming in is going to do an awesome job. And he's done some great things, obviously, in his career. Most notably down at South Point and Rock Hill when they won all those championships a couple years ago. But they have a lot of places to fill, on that team. How fast it comes together will be the key on whether or not, they push, up into that number 2 spot. But 2, 3, and 4, this razor thin margin between those 3 teams, I think it's going to be the same way like it was last year. All those games between those teams are going to be absolute barn burners, and it would not shock me if, they all knock each other off. And we remember last year, we talked about this where there was a 3-way tie for a week or two, and we talked about scenarios on, if this team beats this team, how would it work with playoff seeding and so forth and so on. It worked out for South Mech and Myers Park and Olympic. It didn't work out. So I think my prediction this year is it flips around, and I think Olympic learns from those tough losses and those wars they went through last year. I was at Berry yesterday, and I really love, their quarterback, Demetrius Hargroves. I think he's one of the most unknown talents in Charlotte. He's a legit 6'5" kid, that's athletic and can throw it, and he can run. College coaches, when they finally, learn about him, I think they're going to, jump on. But once again, like we talked about with some of the other teams, it's numbers. I think it's numbers with Berry and Harding. When you get into, because I'll tell you right now, here's a perfect example. Last year, Harding and Myers Park were tied 0 at the half. And then second half, Myers Park, of course, we know they have numbers. The numbers wore Harding down, and then Myers Park went on to win that game. But, my point is, for a half to 3 quarters, everyone in this conference has enough talent to play with somebody. But it's just, can they get the numbers and can they develop, those numbers when they come, and make quality depth, when you lose somebody, because you're going to lose someone at some point. It's football. You never get through a whole season without no one getting hurt. And then Palisades, of course, I saw them during the Midnight Madness, and, they're young, but, they have talent. And I think, honestly, they're not going to be a pushover. Absolutely not. They've got guys that have played. Their quarterback, Jarek Patulski, was Olympics JV quarterback for 2 years. He's a junior, and, it's going to be his time to step up and lead a team. I think he'll be ready for that. They got a big lineman, Kamani Lawson from Olympic. And then they've got a good corner in Colin Howard. And then to Illustrious's point here, I saw their D-line, and they've got good size. And, they've been in programs, and they've been working out in the weight room and all that good stuff. So they're not going to be a pushover, but with young teams, the varsity, they got to learn how to win. And it would not surprise me if they went out and they knocked off, a Harding, or if they knocked off a Berry. It just depends, when they play them. If you're going to play Palisades, you want to get them early. Because I think once they start getting some games and experience under their belt, with young players, they can develop exponentially. And then you never know, the sky's the limit. And then with them, they're not going to lose anyone next year. So, you can look at it as this is like a 2-year program here because all your guys are coming back. And you never get that opportunity as a coach. So, it's really unique. And they've got good numbers as well. So, it's exciting. But what do you think about the Summit?
Yeah, Pep. I mean, I think you're right on it. It'll be interesting to see Palisades' effect on Olympic. You know better than I do how many kids they actually lost to Palisades. But no, the other big question is Myers Park. How the heck do they respond? Their third coach in 3 years or fourth coach in 5 years, whatever the heck it is. All just the crap that program's had to endure. With Coach McManus coming in there now, and we know that he's going to do an incredible job because he's an incredible coach, but how quickly can he begin to restore that program and all that has been lost because of none of his doing are all question marks. And you said it, Hardin. I mean, athletically, those kids are always able to compete. But can they compete for 11 games, 4 quarters a game, week in and week out? It's one of those situations when I was at Central, if you lose your starting offensive guard, you're in trouble. Like, nobody thinks about that offensive guard position until you lose one. And you only had 6 linemen in your program. Yep. And that 6th lineman is a first-year player. What happens then? Or you lose your free safety, or you get a concussion. And sometimes it's not even football related. I mean, I lost kids at Central Cabarrus because they got into a car wreck with each other leaving practice, like just silliness that happens, craziness that happens. Right. But once again, I mean, this conference gets overlooked because of the other Charlotte conference, but there is stinking good football to be played in this one. Once again, I drive a lot of kids, and I was talking to actually a Cox Mill kid, and they were talking about how Audrey Kell, they called it the factory of athletes, is how he just kept calling it, the factory. Finally, I said, what the heck are you talking about? He said, Audrey Kell, man, they're just loaded in so many sports, in so many areas. They're super tough to compete against. But another incredible conference.
So Coach Hart, weighing here, Palisades have put a major crutch on Olympic. Yeah, I mean, hey Coach, we all know it, man. We all know it, but I still have faith, that Olympic, in my prediction, can finish second here in the Summit. So, all right, let's take a look at some players. All right, so Audrey Kell, defensive lineman Kyla Watson, 6'3", 250 kid. I see him as a great strong side defensive end, man. He's one of my favorite players. He should be. I think he has an offer from, I think it's Army, I believe. Wow. But he should have, some more attention on him. Athlete Brooke Stenkovich, he was out last year with injury, recovering, but he should be back in the fold this year. He's dynamic with the football in his hands. He can play running back, and he can also play some slot receiver. And then DB Josh Switzer, man, what a player. I believe he committed to Navy recently, and what a quarterback for their defense. He's a physical guy. He's quarterback only in the secondary. Gets everybody lined up. Really, really great player, man. All right, I'm going to bring Big Shelby on because he's just now joining us. Big Shelby.
There he is.
What's going on?
Man, you on dial up tonight? What's up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, we hear it. It's a delay.
Nah, man.
But it's all good. It's all good. All right. So back on the play.
I don't know why, man. I don't know why.
It's easy for you to laugh, Illustrious, because you ain't here. You need to get on, man. Hang on. Anyway.
Princess seat must be broken tonight. Let it snow. Let it fall.
That's an inside joke. Okay. CFI After Dark, guys. Sorry. Miss Mallory, yes, I love your son. He's a heck of a long snapper. If you read the Prep Red Zone article I did about Audrey Kell, you will love what I said about him. He's one of the best long snappers in the Southeast. Absolutely. Y'all check him out. All right, so Olympic, like I said, quarterbacks back Elijah Holmes. Defensive lineman Elite Nern is committed to Liberty, a very, very talented young man. And then athlete Sterling Green is a guy you can expect for them to try to get the ball in his hands a couple different ways on the offensive side of the ball. South Med, we talked about the quarterback Cam Reese being back. Wide receiver Michael Nesbitt is a heck of a player on the outside, great size. And then the edge player Junior, I hope I say this right, Junior Empania is a 6'3" kid. I think that's going to make some differences on the defensive side of football. Myers Park, I love athlete Tavion Neal. I've done an interview with him before. He's an athletic kid with really, really great speed. And then quarterback Jamin Smith stepping into some big shoes left off from Lucas Linhoff the past 2 years at the quarterback spot. And then DB Tyson Austin. I really like his film. I think he's great in man coverage, and he's physical as a corner. He's going to be a difference maker in the secondary for the Mustangs. Barry, we talked about the quarterback, Demetrius Hargroves. Did an interview with wide receiver Cam Macon yesterday. A very talented young man. And then Ray Savalas is a physical player at the DB position for Barry. Harding, I did athletes. I did interviews with all three of these kids. Athlete Diego Parks, absolutely one of my favorite kids that I've ever covered. He's a great player. He's going to play a lot of different positions for the Rams. Safety Keyshawn Jackson is long, 6'2", rangy, free safety guy that can come down and play in some in the box. He'll play some on offense at receiver as well. And then linebacker D'Angelo Parks is a straight leader at the middle linebacker position. A very, very good player. You taking notes for week one? Good job, illustrious. All right, and then Palisades, we talked about, some of these guys already. The quarterback, Jarek Patulski, who's going to lead that offense. DB Colin Howard is a really good player. And then big offensive lineman, Kamari Lawson, 6'4", 275, is going to lead that O-line over at Palisades. So, got any thoughts on those guys, Engine?
Of course, Diego, what a trip that dude is. So fun. When he was out at camp back in March, I'm gonna mess up his name, but the Palisades quarterback and incredible talent. Once again, we forget how good these teams are. The Audrey Kells and the Olympics and the South Mex. And then, of course, the other half that kind of gets left out, that gets forgotten about. I'm excited to see what bully ball looks like over there with the Pumas.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Speaking of South Mex, I actually got to see those three guys in action tonight. The quarterback he's a pretty good kid. The Nesbitt kid, they kind of rotate him from he's a big target. They rotate him from wide receiver to tight end to H-back. And that edge, they got Junior. He's a very long kid, and he does a good job of rushing out the passer. So South Met gave us we had a good scrimmage tonight. Nobody got injured, but I got to see those three guys up close and personal. So those guys will be able to help South Met out a lot.
Awesome. Appreciate that feedback, man. Well, let's take a second. How'd y'all do overall?
I think we did very good, man. We've seen a lot of things that we need to work on. We also seen a lot of guys, a lot of young guys that got to get in and show us a couple of things that they might get a chance to play on Friday night. The offense still doing this thing, led by Dalen Lee, Isaiah Bridges, and Jakeem Hamilton. Defensively, man, we look very good, very sound. Our safeties, TJ Griffin and Cam Anderson did a good job of leading the back end, and putting us in position where we need to be. Our corner, Candy McGill, who he recently just got his first offer from Erskine University, so that's big for him. He did a good job of he's our silent assassin, man. He's just gonna be where he needs to be. And obviously, up front, we still got the big boy in the middle, Jay and Pierce. That's very big, big guy for us, and Tyler Boyce, who's just committed to Wofford.
Awesome.
So we look good, man. We're very young, man. We're only gonna lose 2 people on defense next year. So our defense is a bunch of sophomores and juniors right now, and might see a little freshman out there. Never know. But yeah, man, we did a good job tonight, man. Happy to go against somebody else for once, man. I know y'all know coaching. We hitting the same people for 2 weeks. We've been seeing the same people all summer, so we did a good job tonight. And I was just proud that everybody, just stepped up and just answered the call.
Good deal, man. Good deal. Good to hear that. All right, let's move on to our last conference we'll talk about tonight.
He said a skin treatment.
Southwestern Conference. I'm not even putting that up, man. I'm not even putting that up. All right, so in the Southwest, I got Butler 1, Catholic 2, Providence 3, Indy 4, Rocky River 5, East Mex 6, and Garinger 7. So, with Butler, really both Butler and Charlotte Catholic, they both lost in the first round last year, in the playoffs. So I think both of these guys are playing with them edge, and you talk to them at the media day that, Coach DJ McFadden put together, which was awesome. You can hear both of those teams are really kind of taking that personally, and they're kind of using it as a motivating factor. For Butler, defense has a ton of great talent coming back. Then the young quarterback, Zach Lawrence, stepping up into the quarterback role, I think is going to be big. Obviously we've seen him all off season, and I think he's going to do an awesome job. And he's in a great offense with Coach Hales. And I asked him at the media day, how do you feel about him, stepping into the role? And Coach Hales pretty much said, at this point at Butler, you get a certain point of the offense when you're a sophomore, and you get more as a junior than you get more as a senior. So, they're going to, give him, the stuff he can handle and let him grow. And we've obviously seen, that formula work well. I mean, look at Davis Cheap. He went from Butler to Elon, and, he played a little bit with the Panthers before the Baker Mayfield trade. So, proof is in the pudding right there. Charlotte Catholic, though, that you talk about the edge. I think the edge was a little edgier, when we got to them at the media day, and they were not, they're not happy with, because they're not used to that. Their standard is state championships. And with the talent they have coming back on that team, the quarterback Sean Boyle committed to Charlotte. Of course, tight end Jack Larson committed to Notre Dame. Offensive lineman Clinton Barlow has got ACC offers. Then Gavin Hood is back on the defensive line. And then they're, in their system, it just wins and it works, And that Butler-Charlotte Catholic game, it came down, to that last year, and Butler was able to beat Catholic at Catholic, which was huge. And now that game this year will be at Butler. So, I think it really comes down to those two. Now, Providence, they got the huge offensive line led by Connor Drake and Mark Tomjanovic. I hope I said that right. Billups may know. But, and Luke Bailey going to running back. They're going to have a powerful run game. But their key is going to be, in teams put 8-9 in the box. Can they take advantage of those matchups on the outside at the quarterback spot and the receiver spot for that matter? And then defensively, they got some guys that they lost, and that's going to be a tough, thing for them to fill, because they lost some talented guys. But linebacker Josh Brooks will step up and be a leader on that side of football, and it'll be interesting to see, can they, push up into that top 2 tier and knock off one of those guys and make it a 3-team race here. Independence, they've got a ton of good young talent in that program. I think most notably the sophomore quarterback Justin Little, a very talented kid. He's done some good things in the offseason. Saw some video of him in the 7-on-7s, really throwing the football with confidence and throwing it well. Of course, the defensive lineman Josh Isaiah is a really, really talented kid. He's come through our camps. He's picked up a couple of offers. Then they got a safety, and his last name, I think it's Quentin Reddish, a 6'3" kid. He's got an offer from Missouri. And he's a really athletic kid, and he's going to help them in the back end. So it's about how fast can, that indie program, kind of coalesce and kind of grow up together. If they're able to do that, I think they can challenge, for the upper tier of this conference. Rocky River, they had a very late coaching change, but their head coach, Coach Hernandez, is going to come in there with some great energy. At the media day, one of the reporters asked them, who was your quarterback? Because the reporter said quarterback has kind of been an Achilles heel for those guys. So if they're able to find a guy to come in and lead that offense and put points on the board. Their defense has always been, pretty good, but the amount of time they're on the field, they get worn down and, eventually, succumb because of that. So offensively, if they're able to put some points up, they can be a team that you don't want to see. East Meck has improved numbers. Coach Sanders shared with us that he's got, I think, 78 kids in the program now, which was great numbers for East Meck. So they're on the road to building that thing up the right way. And then of course we got our guy at Garinger, and he's doing a great job with that program right there and building it up the right way. So what do you guys want to share about the Southwest here?
Yeah, another set of extremely talented teams. I mean, of course, Butler. Butler is like the team that, man, they're good every year. They do things the right way. The kids play hard. You mentioned they got knocked off. I mean, didn't play very well in the first round last year versus Mallard Creek that was playing extremely good football. I know they have a bitter taste. That's not what they're used to. Charlotte Catholic, you mentioned them, same thing. I mean, they got so much talent over there with the Larson kid. Of course, Providence, we've seen some of Providence dudes up close, the do-it-all DB, the big offensive lineman, the defensive lineman. I mean, Providence is a team that works extremely hard over there. Independence, with what DJ's doing, trying to build that program back up to, where it has been in the past. And then Rocky River, man, I mean, we talk about every year, they have players over there. If they could ever just kind of gel and get everything run at the same exact time, that's a team that could do great things because of their talent alone. East Mac, great to hear they have their numbers up. Second year of a new coach, second-year coach. Then, of course, we're always pulling for our guy over at Garinger, trying to get those guys to return back to where they have been in the past.
All right, Big Shelby, you want to add anything?
Oh yeah, I agree with the engine, man. I think Butler just seems to find a way to always be in the mix, regardless of what year it is, man. And they do a good job of putting guys together. I think they want to try to regain their status from the early 2000 teens, whenever they was on top, one of the premier programs in Charlotte. I think Charlotte Catholic does have a bad taste in their mouth from last year. They're not used to being bounced that early. They have a standard, like the engine said. They have a standard they want to uphold, and I feel like those guys, those coaches, and most importantly, those players, I'm pretty sure the players was more eager to get back to it than the coaches was, just because the players know nobody wants to be that senior group that doesn't go out on top. Also think I think Independence might can slide in that third spot. I think Coach McFadden has done a great job of bringing those guys in. I've been seeing they're doing a lot. Actually seen them out asking for donations near my girlfriend's house. I stopped by, gave a couple kids a couple dollars at the McDonald's down there. I'm just like just stuff like that, just trying to get out there in community, put their faces out there, letting kids do things. So it's tough regaining dominance again in Charlotte because the talent is so spread out. Even if they're at the right school or they're not at the right school, the talent is spread out. So And I'm always pulling for my guy, Billups at Garinger, man. Hopefully Billups can get those guys back on top, but it is what it is. In Charlotte, you got to take your bumps and bruises. Then whenever it's your chance to get back on top, you take it.
Absolutely. One of the things that Coach McFadden said at the media day, and I actually asked him the question about back in the day and connecting back with alumni and the streak and all that. And he said it's something that they don't really talk about. He said it's something that they just try to focus on what's here and what's now, and what happened in the past is in the past. And he doesn't want to put that pressure, on those kids, for his program. So I thought that was a good answer and, the right way to move forward. All right, let's look at some players here. For Butler, obviously all three of those guys were at our HBCU Carolina Showcase. The edge, Peyton Scott was one of the top 5 defensive linemen. Linebacker J.J. Coleman, a heck of a player that won top 5 linebacker. And then DB Juice Jones. I think he committed to Georgia State, so congratulations, Juice, on that. He was a top 5 DB. So 3 top 5 guys at the HBCU Carolina Showcase leading that Bulldog defense. Of course, we talked about the Charlotte Catholic guys with, Jack Larson going to Notre Dame. Sean Bowl committed to Charlotte, and then Clint Barlow getting the offers as he's and attention he's getting from ACC schools. We talked about, Providence. And then I didn't mention Connor Drake, though. I mean, what a huge, powerful offensive lineman he is. And he's got, of course, recruiting attention for a while. So, they're going to run behind him and a couple of those other big boys up front. We talked about the Independence kids right there. Rocky River, Travion Graham is an athletic tight end that came to the HBCU Carolina Showcase and was in the one of the top areas of the tight ends there. Jamarion Anderson, I'm very impressed with him. I love his confidence. He's a leader for that team. And then Antoine Norris is going to be a guy that does some different things for them on the offensive side. The football can also play some DB as well. And talking about leaders, tight end Parker Story for East Meck. And really impressed with him at the media day, and I love his film. He does a lot of different things for that team. DB Torrance Casey's a returning player that's going to make some noise in the secondary. And then Nyron Page is a running back that's going to get the ball, get the chance to, really step up and take the reins of that East Meck offense. And then for Garinger, the defensive lineman Eric Bennett, when they beat Providence last year, and interviewed him after the game. He's a really, really good player. He looks really good. He's lost some weight. It looks like he's going to be a really, really good defensive lineman for them. And then athlete Lamarion Witherspoon, athletic kid, is going to do some things on the offensive and defensive side of the football for the Wildcats. Corey Hunter, thank you. Thank you for that, because I know there's 2 of them, and I said the wrong one. Thank you. It is Q Reddish. Is the DB that has the attention for the secondary and plays safety. So I appreciate that correction on that. All right. These comments are crazy, man. If you're watching this, you want to see these comments, go on Facebook, man. I can't post all these. And then Illustrious coming in with another guy to watch, Narada Nesbitt Jr. for Garinger. We will remember that name and keep an eye out for him as well. So, all right. On these players, anyone else you guys want to shout out or any comments on these guys? All right. Well, with that being said, that's our Charlotte preview. So if you're just now joining us, make sure to go back and watch the playback and check out your conference or your team. We did the private schools earlier, and that was the public schools that we just did. Next week, we will focus on a couple more conferences, most notably the Rocky River Conference that J.M. Robinson is in, and a couple other teams.
Who did y'all pick for the? Who did you pick for the private school? Since I missed that,
you'll have to go back and watch. You just said that, Big Shelby.
I'm saying you can't tell me right here.
Providence Day, Raven Gap.
Fun story. We were supposed to scrimmage Raven Gap today. We could have scrimmaged them today.
Dudes, gas is expensive, man. They got a lot of money down there.
Yeah, they wanted us to meet them in at North Greenville.
Got me halfway.
Yeah.
Trying to meet your high school girlfriend that you met at the beach.
Right. They was like, let's meet halfway. They're like, for real. They was like,
meet at the park, line the park out.
It was like, let's meet. They're like, we could have met at North Greenville. And we was like, sure.
Like the college?
Yeah, at the college, yeah. And just play at the college. But South Met called us, so we got that schedule with South Met, so we didn't have to drive no bus nowhere. But I do like Providence Day, man, all because of that quarterback they got, man. If you haven't had a chance to watch Jaden Davis in person, man, that's a sure treat to watch, man. That's why I say I feel like I don't think nobody's gonna be able to beat them. If somebody beats them, man, you gonna have one heck of a defense.
Well, I'm glad you said that because next week we will do our Dirty Dozen we always do of all the teams, public and private, in the area. So
I'm telling you, man, Jaden Davis, man, that kid, man, I ain't never seen a kid throw a ball like that.
Dang.
He's number one in his class for a reason.
And I think the thing with the offense is like when we win against them 7-on-7, they can run 5 different offenses in the game. Like they can come out and run 5 wide for a whole series, then come out and run true spread, then come out and run 2 tight end, then come out and run tight end and H-back. And you out here, I would hate to play them last because you're going to have to watch a lot of film on them. If you gonna be.
Chad Greer is an offensive guru for sure. Yeah. And
but Raven Gap will give him a good game, though. I think those two, that's going to be the game in the sea.
Well, we'll talk about that a little bit more next week. Because I got to.
As long as Big Shelby's in that Dirty Dozen, man, that's all that matters, man.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. All right, so I'll take you guys off. I'll give you a little break because we're going to talk about some scrimmages. So it is scrimmage season. I went to a Jamboree tonight up at a Jam Robinson, and I really enjoyed myself. I saw a lot of people that said some nice things. Really appreciate that. So Friday is a big Jamboree day. We talked about a little about this last week, but I want to talk about it because we got some more information on Jamborees that are going on in the area. So the District 3 Jamboree at the Rock Hill starts at the gates open at 4:30. You got South Point going up against Olympic, Northwestern against Dutch Fork, and then Rock Hill versus Burns. It's a good Jamboree there in Rock Hill for sure. Of course, we got the Chambers Jamboree. And I think it's officially called the Mud Boys Jamboree. But anyway, it's at Chambers. So we got Hickory Ridge, Southeast Guilford, Rocky River going up against Mount Tabor, and then a heck of a matchup. Chambers going up against Dudley. Gates open at 5 o'clock for that one. I think the first game starts at 6. Nation Ford, South Carolina Jamboree at Nation Ford High School. Berry versus Marvin Ridge, Catawba Ridge versus Cuthbertson, and then Nation Ford going up against Porter Ridge. That'll start at 6:30 on Friday. The West Cabarrus Jamboree. You got a multitude of games. East Mac versus Parkwood, Jam Robinson going against Forest Hills, Weddington versus Glenn, Archer Kell versus West Cabarrus, Concord versus Mount Pleasant. That one will start around 5 p.m. The Gaston County Jamboree is being hosted at Stuart Cramer High School this year. You got Hopewell versus North Gaston, East Gaston versus Forest View, and Stuart Cramer versus West Meck. That'll start at 6 o'clock. Rowan County Jamboree is going to be at South Rowan this year. Central Davidson going against East Rowan, West Stanley versus Salisbury, North Rowan versus Carson, A.L. Brown versus West Rowan, Lake Norman Charter versus South Rowan. That one will start at 5 o'clock. Mooresville is hosting a Jamboree. This is a good one as well. You got West Forsyth going up against Lake Norman, East Forsyth versus Maiden, and then Mooresville versus North Mac, and that one will start at 6 p.m. And in the Cleveland County Jamboree, you got Crest versus Newton Conover, Burns versus Cox Mill, Shelby versus Reagan, and then Kings Mountain versus Monroe. Starts at 6 p.m. That one is at Kings Mountain. All right, Cleveland County Jamboree is at Kings Mountain this year. And then Saturday evening, Indian Land and their new stadium is hosting the Jamboree. Starting at 5 o'clock, Andrew Jackson versus McBee, Lancaster versus Palisades, who we talked about earlier, Buford versus Meshawala Christian, who we talked about earlier, and then Indian Land is going up against Highland Tech in the finale. So, Tim Pride also adding Chambers Jamboree is 704 versus the 336. So, all right, those are your Jamborees for Friday and Saturday. So get out, support your teams, support your schools. I thought I was going to Chambers, but I might be going to another Jamboree, so I hadn't decided for sure where I'm going to be yet. Also, I may go somewhere Friday morning. If you have a Friday morning scrimmage, please let me know. I'd love to go somewhere Friday morning and check that out as well. So, all right. That being said, we are ahead of schedule for a rare time. So let's look at some comments right here. M. Tuck right here says Charlotte Christian's going to pull it out. You're talking about Providence State, Big Shelby. You're talking about Rabun Gap. And M. Tuck thinks Charlotte Christian will be the one to possibly knocked off Providence
I'm just
State.
telling you, man. Hey, Kingdom know that man that's behind that center. That's what's gonna bring a temperature home, baby. I ain't discrediting nothing that nobody else got, but I seen some with my own two eyes that I ain't never seen before. And he got the swag for it too, man.
Yes, he does. He does.
He got the swag for it. He built different, man.
Illustrious says your skin is glowing, Big Shelby.
I'm just trying to figure out how a man can post 40 comments and not hop on here. That's what I want to know. You can't be that busy. Yeah, am I right, Kenneth? You can't be that busy if you posting 40 comments. Hey, man.
I think there you go.
It's late.
He must be in there. He must not have no. He must have his nightlight out. He talking about me. He must can't play Madden and be on here at the same time. I don't think the internet gonna hold it over there on the phone.
He's done it before.
Well, speaking of internet, he also said you live in much Wi-Fi.
Tell him that's all right. Hey, tell him, hey, that'd be just fine, man. You gonna want some of that living much when you come down here.
Me too.
Reggie Lee talking about RPI ratings. We're cheering for Harding and Berry RPI, baby. It's gonna be a big part of going to the playoffs. It's here to stay. I think
RPI is a joke, man.
We'll save that topic for another one. Let's see. Terrence Losh. Crick is once again big and athletic in the trenches, which always means success.
I think, man, I want to see Mallard Creek take back over, man. I want to see. I got a lot of friends from the Creek, man. I want to see them take it back over. I think North Met going to surprise a lot of people this year, too.
All right. Tim Pride. Chambers' run game won't miss a beat. Dudley will find out Friday. All right. Well, I don't know if we got any Dudley people watching. So.
Them Dudley fans be on that high school football talk page, man.
Well, let's not go there. Although we probably have some people watching from the page, so
probably so.
It's very entertaining, among other things. Chat administrator, we miss Coach McKee up here at Mooresville. Glad to see he's doing a heck of a job down there at North. Great coach and great leader. So there you go.
Well, chat administrator.
Oh, he was in his wheelhouse last week, man. You missed it. We talked about Greater Metro 4, man. He was on it.
I believe it, man.
Oh yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Thank you, chat administrator. I appreciate that. Although people will tell, they won't tell me. They will tell that guy right there how wrong I am. I'm sure he's got several text messages and DMs already.
See, that's
that
why I
we'll
just stay
discuss
at it,
after
man.
the show.
That's why I stay at it, man. Just come talk to Big Chevy, man. Big Chevy ain't got no. Hey, there's no love in Charlotte for Big Chevy. Man. I just pick who I think gonna be who. I pick anybody. I pick anybody, baby.
Oh man. Coach Marsh checking in. It's good to see you, Coach Marsh. Appreciate you watching, man. Let's see.
You got no love for nobody else?
Hey man.
Because I said something about Kannapolis and scabies last week.
We got scabies?
Kannapolis?
Don't go there again.
Hey, that kid is funny, man.
You go to Kannapolis and you start picking lint out of your ears.
Oh, we mentioned Raven Gap earlier.
That's why Dale Earnhardt was number 3.
So Nell Will says Raven Gap is the Notre Dame of NC high school football.
Well, last time Notre Dame won something.
I don't even know what that means. What does that mean?
Well, I think he's trying to say because
they don't do well.
He's saying that because
Notre Dame's in the ACC, I guess.
They're independent.
Yeah.
So what do they do in North Carolina?
Well,
but they're
Nell, if you're watching, you can explain yourself.
Yeah,
yeah. We don't know your angle there, buddy.
Engine, when you talked about sun drop earlier, Jason Bass, if you need sun drop, you're that old. So,
Jason Bass, I'm on now, and I've had to cut down sun drop. Thank you to Joey B. Sun drop is now costing $7.99 for a 12-pack of cans. I've cut it out. I told my wife, I said, baby, when we got married, my wife was on a 6 sun drop a day kit. But now I said, baby, we ain't doing it no more. We're going to Mountain Dew. And if it keeps going up, we're going to Mountain Line. We ain't getting no sun drop. I can't afford that mess.
Get some that Mountain Line, that 12 case of Mountain Line, probably about 260.
And Jason Bass likes your comment there. So
Jason Bass is that the Jackson Bass kid from Vance Pops?
I believe so.
That's one heck of a kid right there, man.
What?
I would love to see him in that black and green, but it's too late for that.
God, don't do that. Don't do that.
My boy Chris Hawk, baby.
Chris Hawk, I need to know where y'all getting these wings from.
Chris Hawk, my boy Chris Hawk, he got Shelby all in him, but he working up there with Big Chambers, man.
You know what? If we do a slime time tonight, Pep, it involves wings. Oh, good.
Yeah, we are. So Chris Hawk, let me know what kind of wings y'all gonna have. That'll weigh heavy in my decision because y'all know it's like a cookout.
They probably ain't gonna have no season on the wings down there.
Well, see, that's what I need to know, man, because it's like a cookout, and someone has Flanders hamburgers, and if they got Flanders hamburgers,
we got them lemon pepper wings for your boy. Lemon pepper wings,
lemon pepper wings.
We got what you need. And what you like? Barbecue.
I want some hot, man. I got
that hot. We got the hot lemon pepper, honey lemon pepper.
We
got what you need.
If you're watching, what's your favorite wings if you're watching?
Asian Zing.
We got a couple minutes. Asian Zing. Where you get Asian Zing?
Well, it's good stuff, Pat.
Well, where? Where are you getting it?
At Buffalo Wild Wings. That's slime. Now I made some on the grill the other night, and I bought the Asian Zing sauce at Food Line. They were good too.
They got them at Zaxby's too, I believe too.
Okay, I'm gonna check.
Zaxby's, I get the nuclear.
Oh yeah. You like hot.
I like the tongue torch. Zaxby's. Yeah.
No, y'all mouth be on fire.
Hey man,
that's what she said.
You gotta live dangerously.
Kenneth, where my boys at, man? They don't need to bed.
No, it's past the. They better be asleep.
All right, now we got some wings. We got wing comments, so keep them coming. Keep these coming. All right, here we go. So Chris Hawk says he says lemon pepper's popular choice. All right, Kaye Sace, who got the smoked honey hot wings?
Ooh, I don't know, but I like the sound of it.
Sounds good. Kanye, where you get them, man?
Yeah.
Smoke Honey Hot. That sounds like a winner to me.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so Jonathan Leach likes lemon pepper. He also likes Asian Zing. All right, so you got another Asian Zing right here with Deja Walton Jackson.
Ooh.
Oh yeah,
All
that's
right.
my girlfriend. Her name Deja.
Deja.
I got to make sure. Hey,
Mr. Shelby.
Hey, got to make sure I correct you before I get a phone call after this.
Mr. Shelby. What up, bro?
Well, I've never met you. I mean, he never talks about you to us.
Yeah, I told you she wrote books.
But y'all ain't know her name.
Hey, well, it's her first time popping on here, man. You know, she supporting your boy.
Well, there you go.
We want to go see.
He had his hat, I was wondering why he had his hat all looking.
Yeah.
Man, like, I don't know.
She took me to go see her last night. She took me to go see her celebrity crush, Chris Brown, man.
Oh, how was that?
Went to the Chris Brown concert, man. You don't want to know what I got to say. I know y'all old heads, man. Y'all, Chris Brown might be the GOAT.
During fall camp, you went to.
I know. Which I'm glad you said.
Say what, Kenneth? During fall camp?
Yeah.
I went to practice first.
Man, boy, y'all can. Man, Shelby lives the good life.
All right.
It's just amazing thing.
Nikisha Rick, salt and pepper wings at French Quarter in
French Quarter sound like they cost too much, man.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking. That's downtown by the stadium, isn't it?
Hey,
Nikisha makes a lot of money, so
hey,
you know.
Hey, Ken, French Quarter sound they got that 6-piece for $15.99. Can't even order no fries.
Yeah.
Hey, they sound like they wings are special.
I got the wings on special at Food Line. The ones the manager special. They say eat them by tonight.
Mark down.
Cook now.
All right, RG Kill fan Scott Marquez, mango habanero.
Ooh, yes.
Oh yeah, nah, I don't like that. I don't know about that.
Big Shelby, we gotta go. We gotta get some mango habanero, man. That's
like some sweet heat right there.
Matter of fact, a Shelby fan just popped on here. You gotta see, he the Chicken King. You keep
now. Hold on now.
Hey.
Hold on.
Hey, Keith Hamilton.
Okay, all right. We're gonna put you to the test, Cornelius. You say you're the Chicken King. Now 2 years ago I did fried chicken rankings. Okay.
There it is.
I need you to post your fried chicken rankings.
Hey, see the thing about it, he cooked, man. You ain't gonna see it because you just gotta be on that phone call list. If you ain't on the list, you ain't never gonna get the taste. Now
I'm asking him to post. If he's the Chicken King,
he made some good barbecue chicken, baby. I don't know where.
Okay,
that's good. He made me a steak last night. You know, Big Chef, we eat good down here, baby.
Man.
Chevy Coach, we eat good, man. If we make our fans make sure we eat good.
M. Tuck, Cajun dry rub. I love a good dry rub. Oh, yes.
We call them Wingstop wings up here where I'm from.
Hey, Wingstop got a new flavor, the honey hot. Y'all should try it.
Okay.
It's great. I only like hot stuff.
Now, he said these are from DD Peckers.
Except for your girl.
DD Peckers has good wings, boy.
It's spicy right there, Ken.
I was talking to somebody tonight at the Jamboree about DD Peckers wings. Of all things.
Yeah, be careful.
What I gotta do, man. When I come to cover a Charlotte game on my bye week, I need wherever I'm at, somebody to drop me some wings off so I can just test them out. Some lucky fan.
Lucky fan to drop you wings off.
Yeah. I heard them RGKL fans treat you good, man. I might have to go to an RGKL game, man.
We'll talk after the show. Okay. Chris Hawk will have to try them out after next Thursday. There you go. There you go,
Chris Hawk, man.
Let's see. If you get wings from French Quarter,
true that
you have to make a lot of money to afford.
Hey, Nikisha, I'm right with Pat, man.
French
Quarter sound like, hey,
come on.
It don't sound like it's a lot of us in there.
Nah. They're in a French Quarter in Mount Pleasant. I guarantee that.
Yeah.
All right, so we had some fun with that. Thank you for everyone putting up your wings, and we got some stuff that we got to try now. So that being said, it is that time. There we go. It is that time to slime with your favorite host. Not
We're just going to go ahead and get it started with the man who ain't got nothing to complain about because it's football season. When you're in Shelby and you're the man and you're like just a part of the dynasty of all dynasties, life is good. The big Shelby, man, he don't pay for a single meal in that whole city during football season. But maybe there's one thing he could get on. Who you slamming tonight, Big Shelby?
Oh, man, I wish I could have got on last week, man, and slimed it, but I'm going to get a hold to it today, man. My little cousins play football for a travel team out of Gaston called the Mac Dolphins. They went down to Georgia, man, and played. And, officiating has been just terrible this summer, man. I don't know what it is. We got to get a hold on that. But the biggest thing for me, man, you always got to look apart. No matter what job you do, man, make sure you come equipped with the right gear, man. And I see a parent post a picture of a referee. He wouldn't believe what this referee had on for a football game. Have y'all ever seen a referee coaching flip-flops? I mean, come now. Just imagine a little kid just breaking free for an 80-yard touchdown run, and them flops just a flopping. I mean, it's not enough that you can't get the call right, man. But now you out here just showing you don't care in the flip-flops, man. Come on, man. That got to be handled, man. And Georgia's supposed to be the mecca of football, I heard.
They got Ravens Gap. They're the mecca of football. Now, you sound like a slime that I had back in the fall time, Big Shelby, with a similar official at a YMCA flag football game. I called him Sloppy Mac because this fool looked like he had rolled out of the club at 4:30 in the morning and had just barely made it to the 8 a.m. game at the Kannapolis YMCA. Come on, officials. Now get your game up, man. Pat, who are you sliming on this late hour?
Oh, boy, this is going to be bad. All right, here we go. All right, so today, I had, a rare off day, from my full-time career. And, I was killing some time before the scrimmage tonight up at J.M. Robinson. So I'm in Concord, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I might want to start looking at getting a new car. I'm doing a lot of driving, obviously, for this, and, my car is paid off, and, I wouldn't mind getting something new. So I go to the Honda of Concord dealership. Walk in. I'm looking at some cars, just walking around, kind of trying to get a feel for what I might like. I'm in there for 20 minutes, and I'm looking around, and there's just 6 or 7 people just kind of standing around, and I see people, with people in the sales, making negotiations and all that, but they're just looking at me like, I don't know if this guy has any money. I don't know if he's serious, but they're like avoiding eye contact. It's crazy. And I hadn't been in a car dealership in a long time. Usually when you walk in a car dealership, you're greeted and they're trying to get you to buy something on the spot. But I guess Honda Concord, didn't want any business from me. And, it's okay. I've got good hard-earned money that I can take somewhere else. So if you know a car dealer, or if you're a car salesman and you would like some business, shoot me a DM. But as of right now, Honda Concord, you're slimed. And I don't appreciate your lack of attentiveness to my interest. So, yeah, there you go.
Honda Concord, man, come on now. Making the whole city look bad, man. On behalf of Concord Pep, I apologize for Honda of Concord's negative relations towards you. Dang. Man. I'm going to tell you who I'm going to slap, Pep. It's been a rough weekend for the McClamrock marriage and food. So Saturday, my wife and I were hanging out, and her sister calls her and says, hey, my kids are going to watch a movie and get some pizza. Do you want to bring the boys over? And I said, heck yeah. Let's have a date night, baby. You know what I'm trying to head towards? So let's do it. I've been wanting to go to Sogo's for a minute. Let's go to Sogo's. So we go out. It's pouring down rain, Pep. We get there. My wife says it opens at 4:15. So we drop the boys off at 4, or it opens at 4. So we drop the boys off at 4, get to Sogo's at 4:15. pouring down rain, stinking torrential downpour, and it's not open yet. 5 o'clock open time. So I'm like, oh man, it's raining like crazy. I really want Sogo's Pep. Let's stay here, babe. So we waited. All these cars have pulled up. My wife is super competitive. She's like, babe, we better be the first one in line. We better be. I'm like, I ain't getting outside. It's a freaking downpour out here. So finally, 10 minutes till 5, we jump out. We get in line, soaking wet. We're waiting. I've already been there for almost 45 minutes. The girl opens the door and she says, we're only taking cash tonight. Who carries cash? Not me. So cancel Sogo's. So I said, babe, let's go to Longhorn Steakhouse. We're gonna go out and get some steak. So we start going to Longhorn Steakhouse. Just before you pull in, it's pouring down rain. You can't see anything. And I must have hit a pothole the size of a Ford Pinto car, because my whole tire went flat. My CD player that hasn't worked in 12 years starts playing. My car is vibrating. I done flattened a tire, the pouring rain. So I'm out there changing a tire. Bad mood. Get to Longhorn. They mess up our order. God, dog. But whatever. Next day, my boy's like, Dad, let's go out to eat. So Sunday. So I go, you know what? I got this brand new Central Cabarrus Viking discount card, and on it is a Buffalo Wild Wings $5 off a purchase of $25 or more. So I said, baby, let's go to Buffalo Wild Wings. I need some Asian zing. Same thing. We get there 45 minutes before it opens up. I said, you know what? No big deal. Let's just go across the way to Marshall's. We'll hang out for a little bit, buy some stuff, go back. And when we finally get out of the car, Buffalo Wild Wings, BW3. There's a sign on the door that says, no wings, no French fries, no sweet potato fries, no ranch. And it just kept listing all these no's that they ain't got at Buffalo Wild Wings. Pep, what is going on in the world when car salesmen don't want to confront you, almost like they're going to fight you when you come onto their campus? And Buffalo Wild Wings ain't even got any ranch. Like, damn, there's Target right across the way, 100 yards away. You can't go get some ranch? God, dog. Man, get out of here.
Well, it's been a rough week for CFI, man.
Pat, that's after a few days ago, we went to my little favorite little family spot here in town. We waited for 52 minutes, and the girl finally came up and she said, I'm so sorry. I forgot to put y'all's order in. So she told me it was her first day on the job. She's my sister-in-law's neighbor. So I was like, you know what? We're going to show this girl some grace. She's all nervous. So, whatever. We get up there to pay. And I said, now, baby, there's going to be a discount on this, right? She was like, oh, no, it's been so busy. I couldn't even ask the boss man. I said, now, the boss man and I are pretty tight. Go ask him now. Oh, he's really busy. I said, so I waited an hour and 15 minutes to get my food, and I can't even get like 5% off of it. Yeah.
Hey, man, that's crazy today.
Oh,
Big Shelby don't have to worry about that, man. He goes and people are like, what you need, Big Shelby? We got
I know, man.
Nah, anytime me and my girlfriend go eat in Charlotte, man, I hope that never happens. Because one thing I tell you, boy, when a woman hungry, we can't wait no 50 minutes.
She knows what she wants?
But it depends on where we go for the most part. Well, no. Matter of fact, Angel, I'm happy you said that. Last night, we leave the Chris Brown concert, right? It's a cookout near her house. We go to a cookout. Why is she sticking her head out my sunroof looking at the menu like it's our first time at cookout?
She's never been to cookout before.
She over here looking like, just keep looking at the menu as if something new gonna pop up. I'm sitting here like, baby. I said, baby, hey, look, just to order a double burger just like I did.
With the big D.
Hey, look, I'll pull up the cookout. I know what I want before I even pull in the parking lot.
Right? Cajun chicken tray, corn dog, and a honey mustard chicken wrap with a big sweet tea.
As I said, like, hey, she keep looking at the menu. She got her glasses on, so I know she can see. She got her glasses though. So I'm up here. Hey, kid, I'm up here. I keep looking at her like, is this somebody you staring at? Like, I don't understand why Why do you keep looking at the menu like it's not 1,000, 10,000 times here?
Well, if she's still your girlfriend next week, we will.
Hey, it was funny because I'm literally sitting there looking at her. You know how you stare at somebody and they looking at something and you know they know what's on the menu. I'm sitting there looking. I'm like, what are you looking at?
Look at her. Uh-oh, there she is.
Uh-oh. There's a response.
Hey, same thing with my wife. We go to Bojangles. Like, you ain't gonna get the one breast meal with 2 sides, double mashed potatoes and gravy. Get the heck out of here, girl.
Hey, I mean, if she just looking just to order the same thing she always orders.
Just in case.
Hey, I'm over here thinking she's looking at prices. Maybe the prices done changed on us or something. She like
now that's true. Everything going up, man. Right. Everything going up. I'm gonna tell you now. So I'm gonna do it. Can I do another slime real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay. Saturday after the Queen's funeral, I had to go to work. I worked overnight. I was super tired. I stopped at the McDonald's on the way home, and all I wanted was a hot cakes and sausage. I order it. I pull up to there's 2 windows, right?
Yeah.
So you pull up to the first window to pay. So I pull up to the first window. And I'm looking, and there's nobody there. And at this McDonald's, there's always somebody at the first window. So I'm looking, and then there's some girl in the back doing something. And she looks out. Next window! And I'm like, okay. So I pull up to the next window. There's a car there already. So they pull the car up. So I'm like, okay, they're gonna pull me up too. So I go up to the window. And the girl's like, she's talking like a mile a minute. She's like, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to pull you up. Your total is 972. I'll take the car. Here you go. Here's the paper. Go ahead and pull up. And I'm like, what? So I said, okay, I'll pull up. 10 minutes later, some other lady comes out, literally throws my hotcakes and sausage at me. I had my window down. And she was like, and we ain't got no syrup. And walked away. And I was like, I was 2 seconds away from getting out that car and probably getting in some real trouble. But I was like, you know what? No. But you know what I did? On the way home, I filled out an online complaint driving down 85. That's how angry I was. But to their credit, I got a call 2 days later from McDonald's apologizing, and they're going to send me a gift card for an extra value meal. So, partial slime. I didn't say the location, so I'm going to spare them. I'll spare them that, but still. Not good.
French Carter, don't treat me like this.
Thank you, Nikisha. If you pay enough, you get great treatment.
Boy, no doubt.
Yeah, exactly.
$100 12-piece.
Yeah. Big Shelby about to be in the doghouse.
Hey, I ain't in the doghouse, baby. She know it's all fun.
I just checked Deja's Facebook page. She ain't even friends with him anymore. She unfriended him.
Right, man. Hey, if she gonna leave me over a little jokey joke, man, it's all right, man.
Well, hey,
it'd be all right, man.
It happens.
Yeah, hey, if it's true, if it's always true love, you know it'll come back, man.
After dark, it gets crazy after dark.
Yeah. This is why we don't do late shows, and we won't do it anymore. So
it's good for a late show. Miss Burlow's.
French Quarter Uptown, yes. So
yeah,
now,
it's in the uptown part. It's over there, kind of near LaMelo Ball's house and Cam Newton's old house.
Yeah.
And
it ain't in Clinton, South Carolina. I can tell you that.
It's near the mayor's house. It's a lot of it's in a very prestigious part of Charlotte that you know what I'm saying that you got to have an access code to get to.
The lock gate.
Yeah, it's locked. The whole community is locked. They got like 7, 8 restaurants.
So, wow. Well, that's great, Miss Burlos. Your friends. So, hey, can your friends make us some salt and pepper wings?
Yeah, well, can the CFI guys just roll on through and get a little sample?
Yeah, Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. All right, anyways, we're going to end the show now. So thanks for watching. Next week, the Dirty Dozen comes. More conference previews. And then it's week 1. So week 1 games. And then more predictions of week 1 games that you guys know and love to post in your locker rooms. And I feel like there'll be some posting going on tomorrow. So on behalf of everybody, Petman Matt Morris signing off. Thanks for watching. CFI After Dark. Good night, everybody.